Hello everyone, and today is October 25th, 2021. Now, why is today so significant, you might be asking? Well, today is the day that Windows XP turns 20 years old. It was released to the public, not released to manufacturers, released to everybody on this very day 20 years ago. And so we're gonna look at Windows XP today, and we're gonna be using the laptop which was featured in a video that I did a couple of months ago if you want to check that out. But out of the way, let's get this guy opened up. If you watch that video, you know this is the Dell Latitude D630. There, so yeah, apologies if it doesn't fit this quite well. I still do not have a proper tripod, but anyway, let's go power this guy on. Here's the famous startup screen, 20 years old. Here's the famous startup sound. I don't know if that got through the camera or not, but if it did, it just played. So here we are, the Windows XP desktop, which is now 20 years old. Isn't that crazy? I mean, that's pretty crazy. I mean, honestly, at least to me, it still doesn't even look old. It really doesn't look old. I could totally see somebody creating like a theme for like Windows 10 and Windows 11 that looks like this. I could totally see it. It doesn't even look old to me. So here's the desktop. Just even though it is at the desktop now, this thing still does take a couple of minutes before like it's fully ready to be used. So you just gotta give it a little bit more. I know it doesn't look like it, but that's just how it is. There is the famous Bliss wallpaper, which still recognized today. And I know a lot of you who are watching this know it. Probably brings back fond memories of when you were younger. I mean, I can't exactly say I myself grew up with it. I mean, I definitely used it in school, but the first operating system I used at home was Windows 7 all the time. But anyway, this video is about Windows XP, and in this operating system is now 20 years old. This OS is 20 years old. So that's pretty crazy, considering that at least some people still use it. And I think the government, even still uses it, because I guess they can't update their stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna pick up the camera here. So you have the iconic start button there with the taskbar. I mean, with that, once again, the Bliss wallpaper got the Luna theme. I mean, Windows XP was really significant in history of computers and stuff, because it combined the Windows 9X line, which is like Windows 95, 98, and Windows Me, and the Windows NT, which had 2000. It put them together and finally brought home users onto the NT line, which is still used now. and Windows XP went away with the old Windows UI from Windows 9X and gave us a brand new interface, and it made using the OS easier. Like we look in the control panel here, just as an example. Yes, I know there's a wireless connection Windows XP, but it's best you don't connect to it. Wait for this to load. I guess XP wants to show its age today. Here it is. So you see, you have pick a category. You have all these categories, which is better than if you go back to classic view here. You see, that's what it was like in previous versions. This XP introduces this, which is a much easier way. Please ignore the background noise. You can click in here, and then you have even more options there. So that was one example. That was one example of how it made it easier. It also made things easier with the new start menu, which had 2 columns here. This was much better than the old one, which you can still enable in here. Yeah, right here. So this was the start menu up before XP. One column you had to do that, but when XP introduced its famous start menu here, which once again made using the computer a lot easier than before. There's a couple examples there how it made it easier. I mean, it was, again, really significant. And that's probably one of the many reasons why it's so loved today. In fact, I think there's a video I saw, I forget the channel name, but it was talking about why Windows XP is so loved. And I'll link that on in the card above if you want to watch that. But they go into detail and make a lot of good points as to why Windows XP is still beloved today. And as of today, 20 years after it came out, it is still beloved. And I mean, I can definitely see why. I can definitely see why it was. I mean, you know, it did everything it was supposed to. When Windows Vista's disastrous launch only helped XP. And well, you know, well, this is a lot of people's favorite OS, but believe it or not, there are now kids growing up not on Windows XP. The kids growing up on like Windows 10 and soon Windows 11. So they're not going to know what it was like to grow up using this OS. But you know, that's just how things go. So yeah, so Windows XP, happy 20th birthday, and you still refuse to die. You're still praised, you're still beloved, there's still a lot of people using you despite the fact you're 20 years old. But to me and to a lot of others, you look like you haven't aged a day at all. Looks like you haven't aged a bit. So, yeah, I'm really not sure what else here. But yeah, Windows XP is 20 years old. So, happy birthday once again. And enjoy being in the 20s with your operating systems that came before, like Windows 2000, Windows 98, 95, NT4. Welcome to the 20s club. Windows XP. Welcome to the 20s club. Alright. So it was a quick little video, but I just want to make a little video for Windows XP turning 20 years old, which again, that's still pretty crazy because Windows XP was the OS to get me into computer stuff, honestly, and it really still doesn't even seem old. Even though it's 20 years old, the UI, at least to me, doesn't look old whatsoever. It really doesn't. But yeah, so yeah, again, happy birthday, Windows XP, and I want to thank you all for watching today's video, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.